Chances are if you're watching this video, you need help. Maybe you have a watch enthusiast or a watch collector in your life and you're struggling to come up with that perfect idea that is within your budget or something that you think they'll appreciate. Because let's face it, it's tough. This hobby is niche, it's incredibly expensive, and there are bad actors all over the place looking to take advantage of you with high-priced marketing dollars and very cheap quality products. And even further, enthusiasts are incredibly particular, poring over the smallest details from reference numbers to colors, only to end up not buying anything at the end of the day altogether. So take it from one, watch enthusiasts are hard to buy for. Or are we? Well, in this video, I'm going to walk you through a whole bunch of different gift ideas, broken down into 10 categories across a full range of budgets from the ultra affordable to some slightly more expensive options. So no matter what you're looking for, you're going to find the perfect gift for the watch enthusiast in your life in this video. And then at the very end, for those crazy people who are thinking, I'm going to buy them a watch no matter what you say, I'm going to give you a few tips and tricks so you can buy a watch for the enthusiast in your life a bit more successfully. Now, I'll be honest, throughout this video, there are probably a few no-brainers that you thought about, but I will give you some links in the descriptions to hopefully steer you in the right direction. And as we go further into it, there are going to be some out-of-the-box ideas that I guarantee you didn't think of, including one at the very end that is something that every time I pull it out, every watch collector has not thought of it or seen it, and it gets them giddy every single time. They're very excited to play with it, and it only costs $20. So stick with me as we break down this entire gift list into 10 categories, and we get the ball rolling here. Now, first up on our list here is a simple one, and that is a new strap. It is an easy way to breathe new life into an old piece, to refresh that collection, make it feel new again, and to honestly dress up or dress down that old watch that's been sitting in the box and definitely needs to be put back on the wrist. Now, there are a ton of strap options out there with new brands seeming to pop up every single day, and as an enthusiast, we all seem to have our favorites. I, of course, am no exception to that. But obviously, if you have a couple recommendations for other people in this video, drop them in that comment section down below. If you're looking for some very inexpensive options, then you really cannot go wrong with CNS watch bands. These are very affordable. You can grab a whole bunch of them for less than $50 and really give a watch enthusiast an entire bundle of watch straps with different colors, different materials, and really refresh their entire collection for just a few dollars. Now, I would recommend staying away from their leathers as they do tend to fall apart a little bit quicker, but their nylon and elastic options and some of their rubbers tend to be very nice, especially for the price. But if you're looking for a higher quality nylon option with nicer materials, better stitching, and of course premium hardware, which is usually where most companies skimp out, I'm definitely going to recommend Watches of Espionage. Now, I wear a lot of their 5i and their Glomar straps here. I put them on a lot of my watches. You've probably seen them in the videos here, and they do not skimp out. Yes, they're going to run you a little bit higher than most other premium nylon options out there, but in my opinion, they are worth it because they're flexible at just the right amount. They don't stretch out. They feel incredibly comfortable on wrist. And with their neutral color options, they really do just fit a lot of watches out there. Plus, they bring that added little bit of cool factor. For rubber straps, I have a very hard time not recommending Dive Core. Are they the prettiest out there? No. If you're looking for a sleeker option, then maybe check out a Tropic rubber strap. But if you're looking for something that's going to be very comfortable and it's going to get the job done for a tool watch, then really Dive Core is the one you should be paying attention to. The HP Professional FKM Dive watch strap is a performance, comfortable, proper tool watch strap. Recently, Ken from Arkin actually called this a piece of boat equipment, which I can't disagree with. It actually does kind of look like that. But really, when you strap it onto your wrist, it is very comfortable, it looks the part, and honestly is just a really great option out there for someone who is looking to get a little bit more rough and tumble with their watches. But maybe you're looking to dress your watch up a little bit and you're looking at leather options. Well, there's a ton of different companies out there, from the cheaper end to the very expensive end out there. Personally, I tend to wear a lot of the options from Teddy Baldessar's shop, and that is just because I picked up a couple while I was working there, and I'm still wearing them to this day. They're very comfortable, they've held up very well, and as far as the pricing goes, they tend to be pretty on par or a little bit below most of the industry, even though a lot of the industry is sourcing them from the same places. I recommend these pretty highly because they are, again, holding up very well for me. They do look very nice. There are a lot of options out there, but if you're looking for something maybe just one step a little higher, look at the Strap Tailor online. They are a pretty good company, a little bit thinner, a bit more flexible, and a slight bit higher on the premium in terms of comfort and price. The second item on our gift guide is going to complement the first very well, and that, of course, is going to be a strap changing tool. If you're going to be putting a new strap on your watch, you need a tool to do so, and a proper one is going to make a big difference. Now, yes, the Bergeon spring bar tweezers are very nice and great for protecting your watch lugs, but they are incredibly expensive. and these Amazon ones are complete junk and they will break and probably scratch your watch. So I recommend buying something maybe a little bit more in the middle of the pack, like the Bergeon options, or more specifically, the Wind Up Watch Shop strap changing multi-tool. This one has caps to cover the tips, replaceable tips if you do break them, and then you can flip those tips to reveal flathead screwdrivers, unscrew the middle of the handle, and now you have 2 flathead screwdrivers for bracelets that require it. The whole thing is really nice and really well thought out for just under $40. As a bonus, I'm also going to mention the worn and wound spring bar keychain tool, but do be forewarned with that one, it can come unscrewed, leaving just a cap hanging off of your keys. Now the third category on our gift list is going to be single watch pouches. You can never have too many of them, and whether you are storing your watch inside of your desk drawer, taking it on vacation, or loaning a watch out to your friend, it is always good to put a watch into that pouch just to protect it for the long haul. Now with these 3 here, I'm going to give you 3 different options starting from the least expensive to the most expensive, and these are 3 that I recommend, but again, there are more options out there. The first on my list is the Adept EDC watch pouch. It's fairly simple, stretches to fit the watch with a neoprene pocket, and comes in at under $30. Now the only downside here is that it is a bit basic in terms of the looks, and if you do have a braceleted watch, there is nothing stopping the bracelet from rubbing on the case back, causing scratches apart from pressure. Now my second option here, and yes, I chose the most ridiculous one, is the hard case from Cased in Time. It is a hard shell option, providing more protection for your watch, taking up slightly more room inside of your bag, but still being pretty compact. It has a bit more padding inside too, so it gives you a little bit more cushion in terms of impact protection. But the one thing here that I do want to note is that occasionally I have a hard time fitting really large watches inside of here, and it could activate a chronograph pusher if you do have to compress a very large option. And finally, the pouch I'm probably grabbing the most premium option I own, is the Watches of Espionage leather single watch pouch. Handmade in the USA of leather and repurposed camouflage, this pouch also has a leather insert to go between your bracelet and case back to protect it from scratches. It just feels like a special item that as you use it will start to wear and pick up character, making each one unique to its owner. Now the fourth category on our list is a little bit similar to the last one, but very different as well, and that's a watch roll. Now this is important for a collector who is looking to bring multiple watches with them, again on vacation or just traveling with them. This is where you're going to store multiple watches inside of one single container to again protect them and take them with you. Now you have 2 different options when it comes to rolls, either a soft roll or a hard roll. And those are going to be made out of leather or something made out of canvas like this. Either way, you really can't go wrong, it just depends on what your person really prefers. If they're more of a minimalist looking to pack into a smaller footprint, go for the flexible roll. If they're more of a luxurious traveler who appreciates presentation, go for that hard case. But with these watch rolls, I give you one word of warning, it can be easy to get duped out there. Flexible rolls for the most part are pretty solid and pretty simple, so you can get some that are less expensive or more expensive depending on the types of materials that you want and if they come with cards to protect your watches on the inside of the slip. So really just pick one that looks nice to you and go with that option. But when it comes to hard-sided cases, it can be really easy to be duped, as some of the ones that look more expensive and a bit more premium actually show up and are a little bit worse for wear. You can spend money on one that looks nice and premium only to have it show up, come unglued, and ultimately fall apart on you. With other hard-sided rolls, cost does not always equal value. However, ones like these wolf rolls will set you back quite a bit of money and ultimately are very nice and premium feeling. They have extra storage inside for jewelry or whatever else you need to conceal from other people, but will set you back at a price point of roughly $300. Now, I'm not saying you have to spend that much in order to get a nice roll, but just be careful that when you spend that much money, you don't know exactly what you're going to get until you get it in hand. Now, this fifth category is one where you can spend a very little amount of money or a ton of money if you want to. You can add personalization to make it mean something special to you and really customize the whole thing to fit the person that you're gifting it to. I am talking, of course, about a watch box. We all need a place to store our watches at night, whether it's out of reach of that pesky cat knocking them off of the nightstand, out of reach of children trying to grab anything that they possibly can, or our own clumsy hands reaching for a glass of water only to knock the watch onto the ground and mess up movement timing. But here with a watch box, you can really spend as little or as much as you want to, but I'll warn you against going for the one with the winder built into it right out of the gate. Trust me, if they want a winder, they will get one. But you can go to a storefront like Etsy, look at a whole bunch of different options, add a little bit of personalization to the watch box itself, choose how many watch slots you want, add a drawer to it, knife holders, coin holders, and whatever other hobbies that person might be into. And even if it's not the nicest quality, it will mean the world to them as they remember it every single time they tuck their prized possessions away for safekeeping at night. Now with number 6, we're going to be talking about watch accessories. Now, this can be any number of add-ons or doodads or catch-alls or trays. Watch nerds, we love gadgets. So I'm going to throw out a couple specific examples here so that way you're not just scrolling through page after page of accessories on different watch retailer websites, ones that I recommend and things that I really appreciate, but let your imagination run wild here. The first thing I want to throw out there is a slide-on strap compass. It goes onto a nylon strap. It makes us feel like a rough and tumble spy or a hardcore diver, and it's just a fun little gadget that goes onto a strap that ultimately we probably won't end up wearing it too often. If we do, we might end up breaking it, but it is a lot of fun, and it's just that extra level of nerd cool that we really enjoy when we're looking at our watches. If you do want a slight premium option, one that's going to hold up and add a little bit of lume to your watch as well, you can look at the WOE submersible wrist compass. It is a slight premium price, but it is titanium, has a little bit of lume, and ultimately is just the most premium wrist compass out there, though it will set you back about 4 times the cost of the Sunco wrist compass. But that's just compasses. There's also altimeters and thermometers and all sorts of other things that you can strap onto your wrist to make you feel just a little bit cool and a bit more rugged while you're out there in the woods. Another cool accessory can be a valet tray, and that can be anything from an old ashtray to something you specifically buy from a web store, meant to just be a catch-all for your keys, for spring bars, for tools, for your pocket knife, something that sits on the desks to help us just stay a little bit more organized at the end of the day, as our things tend to just drift all over our work surfaces. Ultimately, these are just really nice to have to keep us organized and to make sure that these little spring bars don't end up lost in the carpet. And my final recommendation here for a bit of off the beaten path fun is this Ollie watch module that actually turns a classic Casio F91W into a fully functioning smartwatch. Now, if you're a bit confused or interested in what this thing does, stay tuned as I have a full video coming in the near future on this module. It is a ton of fun and a wild concept. All right, number 7 is a bit more interactive, but also a bit of a higher cost, and chances are good you've probably seen ads for this company all over social media. I'm talking about the DIY Watch Club, different watchmaking kits and different accessory kits that they have available. They have different options where you can either mod your own watch, build your own watch, or even build components or work on specific things. One really cool option that they offer is one where they teach you how to lume a dial. So you can relume a vintage dial, modify your current watch, or just play around with luminous material and have a bit of fun. It's a bit out of the ordinary fun and something that a watch enthusiast will really enjoy. And chances are good that they have not explored these activities on their own before. And I know seeing a bunch of ads on social media might make you hesitant to trust a company, but I have actually done 3 different build your own watch kits from DIY Watch Club, 2 for my brothers and 1 for my father, and they're watches that they still wear to this day. So I stand behind DIY Watch Club. I actually really like them, and I trust all of the products that they're putting out there. So if you're interested in them, I think you should take a chance on them. Now with number 8, we're getting away from watches slightly, but we're still staying within the hobby, and I'm going to talk about adjacent watch literature. Now there's a lot of different books out there on watches, most of them coming in the form of coffee table books, which are beautiful, but let's be honest, are quite expensive, and not really something that you pick up to read all that often. Not to mention there's a good chance that the enthusiast in your life already owns a man and his watch. What I will say though is that there are other options out there like magazines that they might not have or might not have the latest issue of. I personally subscribe to Hodinkee magazine, which comes out every so often with beautiful articles and photography all inside of the watch industry, as well as W.M. Brown, which although is not specific to watches, stays within the luxury ethos, often featuring watches as well as travel, dining, driving, and all sorts of other hobbies that watch enthusiasts tend to be attracted to. Getting close to the end here with number 9, I'm going to recommend a piece of watch-related art. Now that can be anything from a custom painting of their favorite timepiece, all the way to a vintage piece of advertising that they can hang on their wall and appreciate. And the best part of this idea is that you can put as little or as much effort into it as you want to, and the same goes for your budget. You can go to the thrift store and buy a vintage magazine, tear through it, find an old ad, rip it out, put it into a frame and give it to them, and they're going to appreciate it and put it on the wall and really enjoy it. Maybe they'll keep it on their desk and look at it every so often, and that'll cost you just a few dollars. Or you can source a vintage ad that is professionally matted and put into a professional frame. That will cost you quite a bit more, but will look beautiful inside of an office or a man cave. Or you can look in their watch box and find that beautiful beat up piece that they wear every single day and contact a custom artist who is going to paint a gorgeous piece that they can appreciate forever and eventually pass down and stare at it every single day and appreciate it, remembering that you got that for them. Now again, I'm going to link a few artists and a few websites that do all of this stuff down below in the description to just kind of help get that ball started. But of course, you might know someone out there who already does this type of work, so feel free to reach out to them. Number 10, here it is, best for last. And it's going to seem like the most ridiculous because it is only $20. But I promise you, every single time I pull this out, every watch nerd goes bananas for it. And this right here is the LED Loupe triplet. For those unfamiliar, a loupe is what a jeweler uses to inspect jewels or a watchmaker uses to look closely at smaller parts. Basically a small single magnifying glass just to inspect or appreciate fine details. This one though, this one is different. This fairly inexpensive piece of kit can be found on Amazon for $19 from any number of resellers who bought it in bulk from AliExpress for $9. But it has a little party trick that makes it special. Not only is it 10 times zoom at 21mm, but it also has a built-in dual light ring that helps light up whatever you are magnifying. So, with the flick of a switch, a white light comes on to illuminate the surface, which is nice for basic inspection and appreciation, but then flipping the switch to the other side turns on a UV light which brings to life the luminescent details on the dial so that you can scrutinize its application even further. It is a really nice tool for even the nerdiest watch nerd that I just love having on my desk to play with, especially when a new watch comes in that I'm writing a review about. I can really pour over all of the details. And for $20, it is a home run gift. How can you go wrong here? All right, you've made it this far, you've heard me out, you've looked at my ideas, but you're still watching this video thinking, I know my person better than you do, I'm still gonna buy them a watch, they're going to love it, you're wrong. And maybe you're right, maybe you are. But I'm gonna walk you through a few tips and tricks here that might help you out in selecting the right watch for your watch enthusiast. But be forewarned, it's tough. Because like I mentioned at the top of this video, we are a finicky bunch. We pour over all of the details. We might appreciate one color and hate another color, even though the watches look exactly the same. You never know why we love one watch over another because we never know how to actually explain it to anybody. So if you insist on buying a watch enthusiast a watch, take some advice from a watch enthusiast who has been successfully gifted a watch not once, but twice. Because here are 3 tips that are going to help you buy a watch for your watch enthusiast. First and foremost, if they are interested in a specific watch, that's the watch that they're interested. In watch collecting, dupes do not exist. These are not Lululemon leggings. You are not going to find a dupe on Amazon that will suffice. If we are looking at a Daytona, you are not going to gift someone a Pagani Designs and they're going to love it just as much as they will love the Daytona. They're still going to hunt that specific watch down. Now they might appreciate it and they might wear it and they might love it and tell you that they love it, but in the back of their head, they still want that Daytona. Number 2, look for patterns. Stare at their watch collection, look in their box. If it is full of black dial watches, go for a black dial watch. If it's full of divers, stick with divers. If it is full of leather strap options, stick with leather strap options. We tend to collect in patterns for a reason, and if we're not breaking out of those patterns, you probably shouldn't either. And number 3, classics are always appreciated, but not always the most exciting. Now you've probably heard the old adage of you can't go wrong with the classics like the Casio F91W or the G-Shock DW5600, but I'm willing to bet that if they haven't purchased them by now, there's probably a reason, as these affordable options are ones that people tend to pick up early on in their collecting journey. And as a bonus number 4, forget the other 3 and follow your heart. Because if you buy us the ugliest watch that doesn't fit in the collection and is some weird Invicta that you found sitting on the shelf at Goodwill that still smells like whatever that weird smell that never leaves a Goodwill item does, we're still going to throw it on once a year and love that watch to death. And every time we look at it, we're going to remember you. We're going to remember that day that you gifted it to us. And we're going to appreciate it no matter what because you took the time to understand our weird hobby that nobody else understands because why would you? We are collecting watches that really at the end of the day, we don't need anymore because we can check the time on our phones, on our laptops, on anything else. This is a strange hobby that for some reason you're trying to understand and we appreciate you. So thank you for trying to appreciate our hobby. But anyway, those are just my recommendations for perfect gift items for the watch enthusiast or the watch collector in your life in those 10 different categories. I would love to know your thoughts on those gifts, or maybe you have recommendations for other gifts that I didn't even talk about. I would love to know those down in the comment section down below. While you're down there, please do like and subscribe. It really does help me out. But with all of that being said, I know your time is very valuable, and I really do appreciate you spending some of it with me here. I will be back with another video soon, but until then, thanks for being here.